for Nyamina East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me begin by felicitating or thanking the committee for their magnanimous effort that they have done within the period. It was never easy with them. In fact, during the month of Ramadan, having the committee members moving across the country just to ensure that things are in order. So we definitely want to thank them for that. Honorable Speaker, the entire world, I would say, we are not ignorant of the fact that the pandemic, COVID-19, is in every individual in one way or the other. And individual states, individual people are doing whatsoever that they could to ensure that they either prevent themselves, contain, or to bring down COVID-19, I will call it. And Gambia is not an exception as long as this fight is concerned. But the enemy before us, the battle before us, as the Right Honorable said, fighting something that you cannot actually view, fighting something that you cannot actually handle or hold, or that you cannot actually know where it is located is very difficult. And as a result of that, I will continue emphasizing that there is need for unity. Together, we can fight COVID-19. I have that belief. I hold the view that together, we can utilize our resources and fight COVID-19. Together, unity, we can definitely utilize our intelligence in order to fight COVID-19. And in as much as we are trying to portray, we are trying to realize our individual differences, then we might go back to the dark ages, and that will not actually help this country in terms of the fight. And we must be very cognizant of that fact. Honorable Speaker, laws, policies, regulations are not just made to be quoted, but they are meant to address a situation. They are meant to be implemented. Not just to be implemented, but to realize at the end of the day, there is a progress. And that is why we are making laws in this country. That is why we are making policies in this country. And that is why we are coming up with regulations in this country. So I think the implementation part of it is very important. And if we are implementing this at the end of the day, let us try to address a situation. And in this situation, we are addressing COVID-19. This is what we want to either prevent, curtail, or we want to bring down as long as the fight is concerned. So we must be very cognizant of that fact. Honorable Speaker, in this country, we only mean to have these laws, this policy and regulations just to keep them for record purpose. But in terms of practice, in terms of implementation, we find it very challenging to have all these laws, all these regulations, all these policies implemented right on the direction that we want to have them implemented. So this is not a new thing in this country. And in fact, I would say at Africa at large. We have the problem of implementation. And with that, Honorable Speaker, you will realize that we are very serious on making these policies and programs. But are we really serious in terms of the implementation? Could you imagine? The mover of the motion did indicate to us that after the motion was passed, tabled and passed by the Attorney General, the agencies or the authorities that are there to implement, that are there to enforce those policies, programs, or whatever you call it, we are asking or we are waiting for the Attorney General to submit that regulation. I think that is what the mover of the motion did indicate earlier. And I don't think something that we are fighting. I don't expect you as an individual or an authority responsible to implement something that has already been made as law for someone to provide such document for you in order for you to start what you are supposed to do. That is just not what we were expecting from these authorities. The Ministry of Justice, they did what actually they should have done. That is to ensure that to defend what they have tabled before the National Assembly. And I was expecting the same thing because they are all aware, all the ministries. When the Attorney General was here at the table, that must have been here. And not to complain that we were not served with the document or with the regulation in order to implement. That is not a seriousness, I will call it. And we are not serious about it then, if that is the case. Honorable Speaker, the reason why we narrowed down the 3 months that the central government was requesting to 45 days was to ensure that at the end of the day, we will be able to ascertain the progress, the achievements, or the level in which we are trying to handle COVID-19. But from what we have experienced, I don't have to be told in order to believe what is actually happening within the Gambian setup. And honestly speaking, with all the regulations that are made, we are not definitely adhering to all these things that we are encountering in this country. And that is as a result for the committee, the National Assembly, to come up with a special committee that will be there to monitor, to ensure that all these things that are in place are at the end of the day implemented. And that is why the committee is here to report. But Honorable Speaker, honestly speaking, if we are to tell each other the truth in this assembly, because as the Right Honorable said, the hope of this nation rests entirely in this National Assembly. And we must stand to defend that. We must stand to protect the people that we are representing and not in any way trying to cheat those individuals. And we can only do this if we are really committed to what we have to do. We can only do this if we are ready to sacrifice for our people, especially the most vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, internationally, we do agree that the recommendations given by WHO are some of the things in which one can prevent oneself. And in the Gambia, funnily enough, public gathering anywhere, we have seen it as before. And we talk of the transport, public transport. We recommended here that at least they should curtail it down. Half passengers of the vehicles should enter in one vehicle. But that is not the case. And even whereas that is the case, then our people are suffering for paying double fare. Some of the members did emphasize that here. So meaning they are suffering. Honorable Speaker, you talk about the quarantine that was actually taking place for some of the people who came into the country not long ago. After they were released, stayed with their family for some time. At the end of the day, they claimed that those people that they are infected and their family members were left there, not isolated. Where is the seriousness we are talking about in this? And how are we sure that their family members are not infected with the disease? In as much as we claim that the disease can transmit from one individual to the other. Honorable Speaker, these are some of the things that we must consider along the line. And the committee, I am pleased with the report, but I am surprised because looking at it, when we were setting up this committee, there were some terms of reference, there were some recommendations from the Human Rights and Constitutional Matters Committee, there were some recommendations from the Health Committee that accompanied the responsibilities of the committee, that's the special committee. And one of those, if I could remember so briefly, that is all the funds that are coming in the name of COVID-19 must be properly scrutinized, must be properly examined, must be properly monitored. And if I could see what actually is given in the report, there is nothing as such. The minister has been telling us this, that WHO, World Bank, and other institutions, World Food Program, and other institutions of development partners, they have been coming up with certain things in order to help us fight COVID-19. But I was expecting the committee at the end of the day to tell us how much is coming from World Bank in their report, how much is coming from World Food Program and other development partners. And in detail, the committee, I was expecting for them to explain to us how much of those monies are already spent and how much is the balance, and even the balance, how do they intend to spend the remaining or the balance? This is what I was expecting from the committee. Nowhere in the report. And the concern of the general public is this. All these monies we are talking about, I was expecting, I could remember being approached for so many times, that where is this money coming from? How is this money spent? What is the balance? I cannot answer the question for the simple fact that I have agreed to establish a committee to go and do that assignment for me. So I was expecting today, the assignment that I have given to the committee, they will report back to me or give me update as for the resources or the monies that are coming into this country. But nowhere in the report. Do not tell me the money is yet to be spent or some part of the money is already spent. This is exactly what I want to know. But the committee, they are not coming with that. So it's a challenge. And I find it very difficult at the end of the day, as soon as I leave this house, to explain to my people that the rice that we are consuming at the end of the day is coming from budget A, B, or C. Or the rice that you will be consuming at the end of the day is a support from World Bank. I cannot tell. Where is this, in fact, rice coming from? I don't know. And I was expecting this from the committee, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the schools, of course, it does not matter how much we make emphasis on certain things. The more emphasis we make on particular issues, I think the more the authorities responsible should take note of that and become serious about it. So to me, the emphasis does not matter. Here I am saying, day before the initiative started, that is this learning program that is ongoing on the TV and the radio, Honorable Speaker, I make it very clear on the TV. I was invited to discuss on this. And I make it very clear that the people in the provinces will not benefit as expected in this program. And the other problem that I have there, we cannot be having this program at the end of the day, and the people, in fact, who have access to TV, radio, cannot have a clear understanding of what they are listening to. And if they have doubt of what they are listening to, where will they go and make clarification on such? These are some of the things that we must consider. A greater number of the people in the provinces, CRR, URR, and so, just to name a few, they are not benefiting or they are not realizing the program that is ongoing on the TV and the radio. And as a result, if schools are to be open tomorrow, teachers or the ministry will claim that what we have covered already, we dare not to go back on that. What about my children? What about my sons and daughters who are there and didn't have access to this, didn't benefit from this teaching or learning? It's a challenge. And going back to those things that are already treated on the TV and the radio, meaning it's a waste of resources. I will calculate it that way. Meaning the resources that you have already spent is not realized by the beneficiaries. This is what you are telling me in simple terms. So I will advise, let the ministry, in collaboration with whatsoever authority, let them go back and revisit this plan or this initiative. Because a greater number of the people in this country are affected and they are not realizing the benefit of this. Most especially the people that I represent, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, just to conclude, the 21 days, yes, we can extend to whatsoever level in as much as we have the capacity, we have the financial muscles, and we are committed to ensure that at the end of the day, whatever that is approved or put before the table, we are there to implement it. There is no problem. But take it a historical journey and what we have already realized in this country, what we have already observed, what we have already seen, and the authorities and the people responsible behaving in terms of this, I am not convinced. Even with 2 days, even with 3 months, whatsoever period, it will help. Because we are increasing, going into a state of public emergency, at the end of the day, we have a number of cases coming in, again, more and more. And we have seen all these regulations are abundant there. We are not implementing them. So I have the problem of increasing this to 21 days and the regulations are not implemented. That's the problem I have. And I cannot keep on increasing this period after period. My people continue suffering out there. Because imagine, famine is coming. Most of my people are farmers. Most of my people, the little that they can have is from the lumu that they are going to. and lumos are closed. But could you imagine in the combos or in the urban area, the markets that we are seeing here, the way they are congested, Honorable Speaker, to be fair enough, the lumos in the provinces are not congested in that nature. That's the reality. So with me, I am with the belief. I am not supporting any move. I am not supporting anything that is there to increase the transmission of COVID-19. That is not my point. But my point is, if we have the belief that experts, if they are telling us we can open markets in the urban area for a number of period or time, then I also have the belief that, or I hold the view that the lumos in the provinces can also be opened, considering the time. Honorable Speaker, so I think there is need for us to calculate this. And most of my farmers, some of them, they have already sold their cattle. Some of them, they have already sold the horse that they have. Some of them, even the machines, the small equipment that they have, that they are going to use for farming. Some of them, they have already sold the seed that they have. What do we expect? And in fact, where is the agriculture minister to tell us what actually, in case farmers suffer in terms of these areas, what is there to help the farmers out there? So these are some of the things that we must consider. Honorable Speaker, that is what I have to say. Let us forget about our individual differences, and together we utilize our resources, intelligence, and whatever that we have within our capacity in order to fight COVID-19 is real. Thank you.